Hello everyone, Ryan here with another 2020 Subaru Outback tip for you. In this video, I want to talk about dealership mode. Dealership mode is a special diagnostics mode you can put your vehicle into that can help you understand what the computer sees in your vehicle in terms of sensors and other diagnostic information. Now clearly this isn't a mode that you would just get into for fun. This is a mode that you might use if you're repairing your Outback or you're a mechanic or something like that and you want to know how to get into this mode. Before I show you how to get into dealership mode and show you its different functions, I want to take a second to say thank you for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I put a lot of energy and a lot of focus on these videos. I do a lot of research understanding how the different functions work on the Outback. And it really helps me give back to the community and helps me feel like I'm making an impact when you guys like and share these videos. So thank you for doing that. So to get into dealership mode, it's really simple. What you need to do is identify the temperature controls on either side of the display. Now on the base trim of the Outback, you'll have slightly different controls, but the general process should be somewhat similar. You'll need to look for these controls here. And what you're going to do is, it doesn't matter which one you choose, you need to hold these two buttons down at the same time. While you are holding these two buttons down, you're going to press either of these knobs 6 times. Now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. If you press the buttons too quickly, it won't work. So you might just need to try again. So we're going to go ahead and try it, and let's see if I can get it on the first try here. I'm going to go ahead and hold those two buttons down and press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it didn't do it. So I'm going to try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. All right, so now we're in dealership mode. Now I'm going to walk through each of these functions for you so you can see what they do. As you can see, sometimes you might have to try a couple of different times until you can get into this mode. But once you're in here, this is what you can do. Let's go ahead and dive right in. The first option up here is connections. This shows you all of the things that are connected to the car's computer. Your GPS information, microphone, camera, the CAN bus, which allows all of the different systems of your vehicle to talk to each other, the meter, the CID, the central information or center information display, the amplifier, Sirius XM, and so on. You can see that these NGs here just mean that there's nothing connected. So I have nothing connected to the auxiliary or USB ports right now. So that's why that is red. So this might be a useful mode if you're trying to troubleshoot a finicky USB cable, or you're wondering if your USB cable is making a good connection to the vehicle. You can come in here and check USB 1 or USB 2 to see if you're getting that NG or OK and what's going on in there. So this can be a helpful diagnostic screen for you if you'd like to understand what's going on. And it can also show you if there's something broken. If you're a mechanic and you've recently changed one of these parts, you can come in here and check this out. The next is function check. These are different modes that help us test the different aspects of the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and select panel and steering switch. And then here, you can actually come in here and press the different buttons on the steering wheel, and it will tell you what it's pressing or what you're pressing. If you turn these knobs, it'll give you some information on the encoders here. So if you've recently changed these encoders, you want to test these knobs for proper function, you can come in here and do that, and it'll tell you what is going on. So that's kind of helpful. The next is the touch switch or the touch screen. This is kind of an interesting mode where as you move around the screen, it tells you where you last touched. And you can see you get this little white dot that follows you around. And then in the lower right here, it says points. That's how many points it's detecting. So if I use 2 fingers, for example, you can't use 3. 2 is the maximum. So yeah, you can get 2 going, and you can kind of see how they work there. So you can check the edge of the screen. Maybe if you've put a screen protector on your screen and you want to make sure that it's still functioning properly, you can come in here and test it to make sure that it's functioning correctly. The next is the microphone check. This is to check the microphones up here at the top roof of the vehicle. Tap that there so you can see that those are working. And the next is the navigation system sensor. And this is a mode that, or a function that I really like, because sometimes I want access to detailed information about the GPS system. So if you have an Outback or a Legacy with the navigation system installed, you can come in here and actually see what's going on. If you come in here to System Sensors Check, it'll tell you your information in terms of reception, all of your information regarding GPS statistics, onboard gyros and angle sensors and things like that. And you can reset these in here. Obviously, you need to be careful when you're in here. You don't want to accidentally hit the wrong thing. But it tells you your GPS location and other things, your speed and so on. So if you do want access to that GPS information, this is one screen. The other screen shows you information about the satellites that you're connected to and the strength of those satellites. You can see here, you can see all the satellites that we're receiving right now. So we're receiving several. We can see our measurement status, the date and time, and so on. So this is really helpful information if you're familiar with how GPS systems work and you want access to this diagnostic information. This might be really helpful to you. Maybe you have a handheld GPS device and you want to transfer some of these settings into that device, or you want really precise latitude and longitude locations that you can't get from the navigation app. You can come in here and get that information, and then just kind of see where you're at from a diagnostics perspective for GPS. So that's what we can do in Function Check. Kind of a useful mode, a lot of stuff in there. And the next is System Information. This will be a little less useful to just the regular owner, but you do have some information about the product ID as well as the version information of all of the different components of the system. So if you've recently had a firmware update or something like that, you can come in here and verify that all the software is updated to the correct version. Now if we come back in here to Vehicle Signal, this just gives us information about some of the sensors of the vehicle. You can see as I turn the steering wheel, you can see the steering wheel sensor changing, things like that. Illumination controls, reverse, all that kind of stuff tells you what the different sort of signals that are occurring on the bus, so you can kind of diagnose that. The next is a special diagnostics recorder mode. Now this is probably pretty much dedicated to dealers or people who have the right computer systems to understand these the diagnostic information. You can attach a USB drive into the USB port and record diagnostic information as you're operating the vehicle to the USB stick. And then you can use an external program, probably a Subaru proprietary program that would only be available to dealers to understand all of that information from the vehicle. So this might be a mode really interesting to mechanics or those who have access to those special tools. Now this next mode is Settings. Inside of Settings, you need to be a little bit careful because you can do a memory reinitialization. That'll wipe everything out. You probably don't want to do that. This DMS is the driver monitoring system. You can put that into a demo mode. This is also a safety thing. You probably don't want to be doing that. Same with the camera settings in here. The camera settings control that let you make some adjustments. And I'm not going to demonstrate that because I feel like most of the items in here should be done by a qualified mechanic or somebody who really understands what they're doing in here, because you could potentially cause a safety concern if you modify these settings without knowing what you're doing. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. Just I don't think that it's going to be too useful to most owners. And then the final update, or the final item, is software update. And this is really, truly just, dedicated towards dealers or others who have access to the Subaru software. This is how a mechanic can update the firmware of your vehicle. They can write the firmware to a USB stick and then put it into the vehicle and use this function to update it. Now, I do want to take one note, and unfortunately I can't demonstrate this to you, but while I was testing these functions, I accidentally put the car into factory mode. Now, it said factory mode up here at the top, and the buttons were very different. Unfortunately, I've tried to get back into that mode. I can't figure out what I did to put it into that mode. But the information was largely the same. I didn't have my phone available, or I would have taken a short video because it was a little bit interesting. This is a mode, I guess, that they use in the factory to test all of the functions and features before they, send it down the factory line to make sure everything's healthy. Now, I couldn't really find anything in this mode that was unique, except for testing the radio system. There was a special mode to test the speakers and test the amplifier. It wasn't really super interesting, but it would let you change radio settings and things like that. Then there was a special mode when you put it into speaker test mode. It would play white noise through each speaker at full blast. It was really loud and really annoying. I imagine they do that in the factory to just verify that everything's working correctly. Each speaker would play the noise. Other than that, I really couldn't see any information that was available in factory mode that isn't also available in dealership mode. At least I couldn't tell any difference other than that radio test, audio test function. So that's some of the features you can do. To get out of this mode, you can just go ahead and press the home button here at the bottom. It'll take you back out here to the main screen. Obviously, to get back in, you hold it down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see we get back in here. So that's how you use dealership mode. Again, maybe not super useful to you, but could be helpful in certain situations when you're trying to diagnose what's going on with your vehicle, or if you're a mechanic and you like to work on your vehicle and repair it yourself. Our test vehicle today has been the 2020 Subaru Outback Limited XT. I'm the owner of this vehicle. I don't work for Subaru or a Subaru retailer. As I've mentioned in all my videos, I'm making these videos just to help other Outback owners out there get the most out of their vehicles. Thanks for watching.